I'm going to compare the reactivity of these two substances to show you the difference that a single electron can make. On this side I've got potassium, the metal, okay, that's just the standard element, it comes off the periodic table, okay. On this side I've got potassium chloride. Now this is only one electron different, it's lost an electron and the chlorine has gained it. I'm going to say potassium chloride for later, okay, and you'll see why. Right, I've got in here a little bit of hexanes. That's because potassium, the metal, has to be stored underneath a mineral oil to keep it from reacting with water in the air. That's just how reactive it is, okay. I've taken out a tiny little bit from my bottle and I've got it on the tile here, you might be able to see it, it's really small, the bit that I've got. I'm going to wash the mineral oil that this is kept in off using the hexanes. Once I've done that, I've got my knife here, I'm going to cut an even smaller little bit off and I'll show you how small that bit is in a second. I'm putting the stuff that I'm not going to use back in the hexanes to protect it from water in the air. Okay? Now I've got my tiny little piece and you'll be able to see that there. I'll hold it up to the camera for you. Brilliant. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this to the middle of my bowl of water. Okay? This is regular tap water, I've not warmed it up or anything. Okay? And I'm just going to add my potassium to it like this. Okay? You can see just how fast that small piece of potassium reacted. Okay, and that's important to remember, the speed, okay, and also you can look at the colour of the flame if you remember flame tests from when you've been taught that. Okay, the next one I'm going to look at, how well potassium chloride reacts with the water. If you know what common table salt is, that's sodium chloride, you might have an idea of what's going to happen here. Okay, I've only used this really small little amount, so it's comparable with the reaction that I did with the potassium metal, okay? So I'm going to add that to my water. Now, the potassium chloride was definitely less exciting, but we're just looking at the difference between the two, and hopefully we can all agree that the potassium was definitely more reactive with the water, which is interesting because there was only a single electron difference as I described at the beginning, and that shows you the importance as a scientist of being able to predict what sort of reaction is going to happen, and one way of doing that is looking at the periodic table and being able to convert that to the number of electrons there are and in which shells they belong.